Today I'm going to be talking about harmful algal blooms, their causes, impacts, and ways that we can mitigate them. So you may be wondering, what exactly are harmful algal blooms? Well, they start off with one thing, algae, which are a key part of most marine food webs, but when the conditions are just right, can become deadly to marine ecosystems. Harmful algal blooms are also known as HABs, or sometimes can be called red tide, but this can be kind of a common misconception because not all harmful algal blooms are red. These algal blooms can produce toxins for marine life and can even cause illness in humans. And although they are rare, they can also be deadly. In the Gulf of Mexico and Florida, HABs are especially prevalent due to a species of algae called Karenia brevis, which can cause all sorts of problems with humans and marine organisms. The main cause of harmful algal blooms can be connected to the overuse of phosphorus and nitrogen-based fertilizers, which are superfoods for algal blooms from lawns or agricultural areas. This in turn can create eutrophication, which is when an ecosystem gets fed with nutrients that increase the growth of algae and plants in coastal areas due to runoff. They can also occur after weather events like hurricanes, floods, droughts, and high water temperatures. And finally, pollution and runoff can also cause HABs when there are chemicals that are introduced to our waterways via runoff. Some impacts of HABs are that algae can become excessive and begin to decompose and create carbon dioxide that makes the water more acidic. And the decomposed algae begins to sink to the bottom, which can choke out seagrasses and other organisms like shellfish, crustaceans, fish, and other marine mammals when the sunlight is blocked, creating less oxygen in the water. Economically, this can impact the fishing industries when there are massive amounts of fish, shellfish, and crustaceans that are killed by these HABs. Eating infected seafood can also make humans sick. The algal species common in HABs, Karenia brevis, can become an airborne toxin when waves break on the seashore and can cause respiratory irritation in humans and other mammals. One of my favorite species native to Florida is the Florida manatee, which is a popular marine mammal that can be found in oceans, springs, and other coastal waterways in Florida that primarily feeds on seagrasses. They can become greatly impacted by the HABs and the Karenia brevis toxin by eating infected seagrasses or breathing in the brevetoxins, which cause harm to the central nervous system of organisms when they come up for air and are created by this algal species. This causes them to get very sick and give them seizures, which can cause them to drown. Manatees do not get sick immediately from these toxins, but rather get sicker and sicker over time. Some signs of an infected manatee are facial twitching, tiredness, sideways swimming, and not being able to surface for air. Hundreds of manatees have died from HABs since deaths were recorded in 1982 by the Save the Manatee Club in Florida. And finally, you may be asking yourself, how can I prevent this? Well, there's 5 simple steps you can do on your own to mitigate HABs. The first one is installing aerators in ponds to keep the water flowing and not stagnant. This can prevent the growth of algae. Next, you can pick up pet waste to prevent excess bacteria and nutrients from entering our waterways. You can install rain barrels to collect rain and prevent runoff, which can also be used in your garden for watering. You can introduce native plants and landscaping to collect rainwater. When there's an excess amount of man-made materials like cements, they don't absorb the water and it can create ponding, which creates runoff when it rains. If you have to use fertilizers, use a phosphorus-free fertilizer and do not fertilize before a large rainstorm to prevent runoff. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned some good information about harmful algal blooms and ways that you can prevent them.